Hi there, I'm Ross Clay, and this is Step to the Plate. And as you know, this is the story of individuals, groups, and corporations who make a difference in veterans' lives. I'm here today at US Vets in Los Angeles with their director, Mr. Dwight Radcliff. Dwight, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Ross.
Great
Glad
to have
be
you.
here.
Dwight, tell us a little bit about the center here.
Well, we're here at Westside Residence Hall, which is our flagship site that was founded by a group of prominent veterans and Judge Harry Pregerson from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, who had space in the Central Freeway development, actually located this space for and wanted to use it for service to veterans. At that time, Tim Cantwell, who was a developer with Century Housing, came along and put together financing and was able to obtain the site. And we were at that time it was a transitional housing program for veterans, which veterans who had income could come here and get low-cost housing. There were very little services, and I was stationed out here as a VA employee. I was one of the clinicians stationed out here at the time, and we were able to service about 35 veterans here. So in 1993, prominent veterans formed the board of United States Veterans Initiative. Our first grant was with the Corporation for National Services, and we began our AmeriCorps program. That was the first grant given to the United States Veterans Initiative, which back then was called LA Vets. We began to open and develop program for those veterans who were trying to access the housing but didn't have income, were not able to, didn't have employment. 85% of the veterans that were attempting to get employment were able to get it. We then sought funding from Department of Veterans Affairs and Department of Labor to help veterans in their employment program, employment process. Hence we were able to start what's called now the Veterans in Progress program.
So that's essentially a gateway from the point of where you're dismissed to where you can come into the world. Is that what it's about?
That's correct. We all along, in fact, myself and our Director of Development, Steve Peck, were involved in outreach with the VA for a long time. When United States Veterans Initiative first formed, one of the first things we were able to do was to form a outreach team, utilizing AmeriCorps members. So those members now see about 1,500 veterans on the streets, in shelters, and places not meant for human habitation a year. We were able to place veterans into primary care and then gather them back at the end of that and bring them into our housing for employment services and for long-term housing.
Wow. Wow. We'll be right back for more information here with US Vets. So Dwight, essentially this comes from a need first in terms of what you've established.
Exactly. We were able to develop resources that then in turn veterans would tell us what their needs were after that, and we were able to develop a program to address it. We had veterans that wanted to come in our housing that needed employment. We were able to develop a Veterans Employment Reentry Program in 1997. In 1999, we noticed that those veterans that were re-entering the workforce, about 33% of those veterans had child support issues, and they were getting half their wages attached. We were able to develop the first veteran-specific non-custodial program, non-custodial fathers program in the country. We have been able to develop a career center that has veterans access the digital divide with computer access, computer training, computer classes, education. I think what's unique at this site in Los Angeles is that the VA was here to give clinical backing first. Then we were able to develop employment programs. Then we were able to develop non-custodial fathers program. Then we were able to develop a career center, a 24-station career center, state-of-the-art computer center that met veterans' needs. We have a food service that primarily hires veterans, and they serve in excess of 300,000 meals a year.
Oh my heavens! So the VA was here for them.
Absolutely.
So the question is too, because the VA is the great mystery.
Yes.
You have it accessible here for them.
Absolutely. I think what was unique, and we have now expanded to 10 sites operating across the country. What's unique is the VA presence that's here in Los Angeles. This site has 6 full-time VA clinicians stationed here, and they're here anywhere from early morning to late at night.
While Dwight was showing me around the center, I was able to meet some of his extraordinary staff. I met one individual in particular who exemplifies the center's achievements. His name is Mr. Ivan Mason. Ivan, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And welcome to Veterans Network, and most importantly, Step to the Plate. I hear that you have made a difference and that you too have stepped to the plate.
Okay, well, my story is typical of the veterans that we serve, in that when I first heard of United States Veterans Initiative, back then it was known as LA Vets, and I was recently discharged from prison without any notion of what I was going to do with my life. I, engaged the system early on, I said June of 1997, and upon, walking into the facility, without doing a screening, I knew I'd found a purpose, my purpose in life. I knew from the very beginning that this would take on something bigger than me. And prior to that, I'd lived such a selfish and incorruptible life. So here was an opportunity for me to take charge of my life again, and at the same time be of benefits to others outside of me. I've completed a drug and alcohol certification. I've gotten a bachelor's degree. I'm working on a master's in public administration, and naturally, I started out within the system here first as a client, and naturally gravitated through the process by working in each and every single department here at the United States Veterans Initiative.
I'm impressed. Remarkable.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much. We're going to move on with our tour here, but Mason, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Dwight, this is definitely a work of ongoing progress. I'm very, very impressed. But tell me this, there's still more work to be done. How many veterans that are out there that are homeless?
Well, according to the last census, and those are pretty good numbers, there are about 200,000 homeless veterans in the U.S.
What does the future look like for U.S. vets?
The future for U.S. vets is that we'll be here to help eradicate the problem of homelessness among veterans, so that the words veteran and homeless are never synonymous.
Awesome. On behalf of Veterans Network, I want to thank you. This has been Step to the Plate.